Welcome back everyone. In today's video we'll be going over what skills I consider to be the best in the game. We're gonna go over them by each of the 3 skill trees. And then in the end I will do some honorable mentions and also bring up some skills that I know that the communities really like. However, that they might not personally affect my gameplay that much. As I'm making this, I'm not completely sure what I'm gonna title this video, but I know it's gonna be something of the best skills in the game, because that's the only way to make you click on it. However, I need to point out that this is my list, and this is probably not going to be that useful to a veteran player, and this video is primarily towards new players that boot up the game for the first time or haven't played it in a while, and it can actually be quite intimidating to look at that skill tree not knowing what to pick. This video was also suggested by one of you guys, which I always appreciate. It's hard to make up somewhat original content, even though I'm sure this is done before, for a game that's over 5 years old, soon to be even 6 years old. So if you have any suggestions what you want to see, leave it down in the comments. And that also goes for the skills. Do you agree with what I'm saying? Have I completely lost it? Is there any skill that you particularly use that's not that mainstream? Let us know. Enough talking, let's get into it. Starting off with what you guys have now told me, it's not called agility, but agility. The first agility skill that I will always pick up is the vault skill. This can be picked up quite early, at level 4. What this allows you to do is jump on top of enemies and then leap forward. Not only is this extremely effective when dealing with hordes of zombies to get out of tight situations, but it can also make parkour a lot faster and a lot smoother. You see, when you're running around in a game, if you're going for a ledge that's quite high up and you have to do the pulling animations when you pull yourself up over that ledge, that's a really slow animation compared to when you reach the ledge at knee height, at which point the character just smoothly continues without losing any momentum. This is one that I use absolutely constantly, and I can't stress how effective this is. The next skill is dropkick. This can also be unlockable at level 4. So you gotta choose which one you prefer. But there are gonna be a lot of skills in this game, and depending on how you play it, some will affect you a lot more than others. And if you picked up the last one at level 4, you can just pick up this one at level 5. And at the beginning of the games, like level 4, when you can unlock these, you'll level up quite quickly. Dropkicking works kinda like you would expect. Once you're in the air and you got momentum, you can use your kick key and you will perform a drop kick. Not only is this very satisfying, it's also very effective at cleaning out single zombies on rooftops and similar, but also very good if you are good with your aim and you can push the zombie into a wall of spikes or something similar. The next one is the skill slide. This can be unlocked at level 3, so it can be unlocked almost instantly. While this skill doesn't really help you in a lot of ways, and I honestly gotta say I don't use it that much, when you're playing a fast-paced parkour-like game and you press that crouch button while you're sprinting, if that guy then completely stops, gets down and starts crawling under the obstacle, that takes away the momentum and it takes you out of the game. I included this ability here because I almost think this should be included, such as jumping and running. But you can unlock it pretty early, so there's really no worry. And that's why I would pick up this pretty soon. Alright, let's move on to survivor skills. First off, we have the grappling hook, unlockable at level 12. So as you can see, this is one of the 3 major abilities that you can unlock at each skill tree. Each unlocking a big milestone, and you have to unlock this in order to get access to that part of the skill tree. So obviously you want to unlock every single one of these 3 major abilities pretty much always instantly. And the second major one on the survivor tree is the grappling hook. And this one you should definitely not wait with. There is some criticism towards the grappling hook, not because it's bad in any way, but for the simple fact that it changes the game completely. It takes away a big part of the climbing and running. It gets so much more fast paced you get around so much easier, and it allows you to play a lot more aggressive since it can take you out of a lot of sticky situations. So I would say pick up the grappling hook as soon as you can. Next survival skill is Lucky Repair. Get better at repairs. Repairing a weapon will often not use a weapon repair slot. So when you start a new character and you're new at the game, sometimes it can seem a little daunting to use a lot of your resources to upgrade and maximize your weapon, simply because you're running low on med supplies and everything. This will be less of a problem the more you play, because you should always be looting. So this skill that can be unlocked at level 7, I will pick up instantly because it takes away some of that fear. I feel like I can use a lot of resources to maximize a weapon, use expensive blueprints, etc. because I know, and if I'm lucky, that I can use it a lot longer with this skill. Alright, the next one is on the same note, crafting expertise. Get better at crafting more items from the same materials. This can be unlocked at level 5, and trust me, at level 5 you probably don't have an unlimited supply of medkits and etc. And to get this skill, every time you would craft one medkit, you now get the double. And this goes for a lot of abilities. This increases everything from molotovs to throwing stars and etc. etc. So I would pick up this as soon as I can. Next up we got the power tree. My absolute favorite power skill is the Stomp ability, unlockable at level 9. Finish enemies off on the ground with a head stomp. There are a few ways you can tackle enemies: kicking them, running into them. Sometimes you hit them with a blunt or even a sharp weapon and they'll fall over. To then be able to instantly finish them off with a stomp and not lose any durability on your weapon, I say is a game changer. All of these skills are of course going to be more useful in the early game, but it's also sometimes faster, more often than not, if you're not using very upgraded weapons. Even if they're on the ground, it can take a few hits to finish them off, even if you're hitting every blow to the head. The Stomp ability is just a complete game changer. But the next abilities that I really like on the power is the sturdiness skills. The first one is unlockable at level 4, the second one at level 7, and the third one at level 13. While one might not feel like a huge difference, once you have 2, and definitely when you have 3, you do feel a lot more powerful. You can take a lot more hits, you can be a lot more aggressive in your gameplay, and you can take a lot more risks. Or, if you keep playing passive like you have to do in the beginning in order not to die, you will be rewarded with simply not dying as much. In this video I really only wanted to list the main ones that I use, and as I mentioned before in this video, there are 3 major abilities in every skill tree. There's the very first one that you can unlock to even unlock the first skill tree, and the same goes for the adapt one and then the expert one. And I'll say that you almost always should pick up these as soon as you can, so I can make this video a lot longer and go over a lot more skills, but these are really the main ones. And as of most of us, when we play this game, we know that whenever we start a new character, we've got to max out every skill tree, and of course it makes a difference in what order you unlock things. But sometimes you're standing between something that you really don't use and something that's on this list, and then the choice is really obvious. Now, there are more good skills in the game, so I thought I would do some honorable mentions. And like I said in the beginning, these are not skills that I use particularly much. Some I do, but I know that the communities really like them, so I thought I should mention them in order for new players to get an idea of what to pick. So the first skill that I think you should consider is camouflage. I think you should just look at the video for a second here and see how effective this ability really is. And this really comes down to how you like to play the game. I want to be a lot more fast-paced, a lot more guns blazing, clearing out every single zombie. But if you want to have a more sneaky ninja type gameplay, you know, you can put on camouflage, you can go in and loot. Zombies will leave you alone. You can take out zombies when you're camouflaged. I cannot deny the fact that it's really good, and I've even talked about it in previous videos. The next one is Shield Mastery. This can be unlocked at level 8. This is also how you like to play the game, and later you can unlock modifications to your shield, applying different damage effects to them. And while zombies can still knock you down when you have a shield, you will not take damage. If they're close enough, however, they will be able to hit you once you're getting up. But it can be a good way to avoid some damage in a tight room with a lot of zombies. Those two were both additional survivor skills. Next up we have the power skill Conserve Weapons. Learn how to use weapons more efficiently. Melee weapons loses durability much more slowly. Again, this can be unlocked at power level 6, which is quite early, and it comes down to the same thing. It feels really frustrating to put a lot of blueprints and upgrades into your weapon if you can't use them for very long. Especially, like I've said in the beginning, when you haven't collected that much crafting material yet. So pick up Conserve Weapons, and makes it less punishing to upgrade your weapons because they will last longer. Next one is also a power skill, Melee Throw, unlockable at level 4. Throw any melee weapons at enemies, dealing massive damage. This can even be used with broken weapons. I think again this is one that you should check out the video. It's quite satisfying and the damage is good, but you also need to collect your weapons afterwards if you want to keep them. Of course, if you have weapon slots open, you can just pick up any weapon that you find on the map and then instantly throw them. That's a tactic that you can try if you're low on good weapons or ammo or such. It's a fun ability. It can be unlocked pretty early as I try it out. And the last honorable mention I want to point out is another survivor skill, Elemental Throwing Stars, survival level 4. Learn how to craft throwing stars with 3 additional effects: freezing, burning and exploding. Personally, the exploding ones are my favorites. However, I put them in honorable mention because I very rarely use throwing stars. They are good, they are effective, but I prefer to use the weapons that I craft. However, you know, as you can see in the video, they're very effective and they're extremely fun. And they can be unlocked at level 4, so you can start using them very early. And if you upgraded your crafting skills, then eventually, whenever you craft them, you will receive 8 each time. So it's not too expensive. That's really all the skills I have for this video that I feel is really worth pointing out. Did I miss anyone that you use very often? Please let me know in the comments down below. And to the kind gentleman that gave me the idea to this video, I always appreciate it. And if you have any sort of content you want to see, let me know in the comments. That's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.